Hey guys, so what is @controller annotation used in a Spring MVC project? So we saw that @controller annotation is basically the specialized version of component class. So what it does is that basically when we're using this controller annotation above the class, so it tells that whenever the Spring IOC container is initialized, we have to create application context will create a bean inside it for this class. And basically this class is used to handle the incoming HTTP request, right? So now we will see how it is used and how it works. So let's create or use this control annotation here. So basically, this control annotation is used with two other annotations that are very important, right? So before that, let's see one change that we have to make in a form, right? So if it is your starter project, so let's go here and you will see that here this annotation basically. So if it is your starter project, so this web won't be mentioned there, right? So you have to change it to starter dash web, right? Then only this control annotation or this incoming HTTP request will work, right? So this is the small change that you have to make. Basically, this is the important change that you have to make, not the small one. So go back to this. We have to use this request mapping here, and let's give it a name as book name, right? So what it does is that it will map your incoming HTTP request to this URL, that is localhost 8080 slash book name. So 8080 is the port on which my Tomcat server will be started, right? So on this URL, it is saying that your incoming HTTP request will be on this URL, that is slash book name, right? So we can change this request mapping to get mapping or post mapping also, depending upon our whatever the use case that we are trying to perform here, we can use that, right? So I've used this request mapping here. And then there's another annotation that is response body. So response body, what it does is it tells that whatever the response this function is going to return, it will be in the this one format. So let's say we have some form, right? On the front end, we created some form, and that form is basically returning the type of XML data, like the XML data type it is returning, right? So we wanted to convert that XML data to a JSON format. Then only we can, let's say, perform any particular operation or task, right? Or we can save it into the DB, right? So in that case, we have to use this response body to convert the data to this JSON format, right? So let's run it. Let's go to this demo application and run it. So my server is getting started at 8080 port. So now you will see, let me open that URL, refresh it. So you see that Alchemist is printed here. Now we wanted to see how the data converted into the JSON format and it is displayed here. What we can do is we can go back here. Let's create a package here quickly with name book, right? Or I can say books. And then what we can do is we can create a class name book. Let's create two private variables, that is string name, and let's create a constructor to initialize these variables. Okay, so this dot id is equal to id, and this dot book name is equal to book name, right? And now we have to create some getter setter methods for these variable to get and set it, right? So what we can do is we can click here and generate and click on getter setter, right? For okay, see, it has created a getter setter methods for us for int id. And similarly, what we can do is we can click on this and create a getter setter method for book name also. So let's click on this and create for book name also. So see, for book name also it has created as the getter setter methods. Now what we have to do is we have to go back to this index controller and we have to create a new object. So what we can do is we can write book new, or we can say n is equal to, why it is not coming, yeah, book n is equal to new book, and then what we can give is id as 1 and book as alchemist, right? And then what we can do is we can return this book object, right? Return book, oh sorry, return here n. right? And still my error is coming. Why? Okay, book, right, fine. So let's go back here in the demo application and rerun it. If we get any errors or something, we will solve it. Okay. So see, our port is on 8080, right? And it is started on get server. Now we will go back to this URL and we'll refresh it. So you will see here. So the data is coming in the JSON format. See how beautiful it is displayed here, right? This is what the function of at the response body. This is how it is doing that, right? Now, there's one more thing. So this control annotation, request mapping, and response body. Okay, these are fine, right? But what we can do is we can use this add the request mapping here also to tell this class that there's a base URL to which we need to map this class, right? To which we need to map that incoming HTTP request first. For example, let's say if we use this request mapping, and let's say we name it as slash API, right? So what will happen is first we have to enter localhost 8080 slash API slash book name. Like that, it will be mapped, right? So let's save it. We go back to the XML, rerun it. So my Tomcat server is getting started 8080 port again. And now what we can do is we can go back to this book name. So I'm getting some error here, right? Why I'm getting this error? Because I have not used that API here, right? That base URL. So now if you see here, see, this is how it works, right?